All right, guys, what's up? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. Now, this is going to be kind of a part two to the video that got released earlier today, which was originally supposed to be released yesterday. But there's something I kind of subconsciously meant to cover that I didn't exactly cover in that video. So I'm making a separate video in order to cover that, and in ways that it may have not been talked about by other content creators out there that are actually covering Call of Duty, and that they're talking about the no skill-based matchmaking playlist. Now, granted, I've listened to plenty of videos and content creators talk about this, but I haven't listened to everybody, right? But there's multiple videos that I've seen. So I'm going with what I've listened as well as some other community feedback and just kind of giving my take on it. So one thing I wanted to mention was that the only thing that seems to be sucking about this no skill-based matchmaking playlist is the fact that the beta itself is a small sample size. In other words, what I'm trying to say is the people that play the beta are a much smaller number of people that play the game compared to the people that play the full release of the game, right? So I think that's pretty safe to say across the board. Now, obviously, as video games have gotten more popular and people have become more aware, and gamers, are kind of everywhere now compared to where they used to be at one point in time many years ago. The fact still remains that the majority of players are going to be playing the full release of the game instead of the beta, especially since for a period of time, the beta was a closed beta unless you pre-ordered the game. So, and from what I understand, the numbers of the beta are not very popular compared to some other betas as far as Call of Duty is concerned. Now, with that being said, beyond that, though, the no skill-based matchmaking playlist seems to have gotten really great response from people from videos that I've seen. And I hope that it actually eventually becomes the default way for them to do the matchmaking, because when you think about it, like when I saw Blame Truth's video, for instance, I saw they found a match in like just a matter of a few seconds, which is great. That's the way Call of Duty is supposed to be. And that the bullets were connecting and there was no packet loss or packet burst. And that is the way it's supposed to be, which is great. I mean, we all know, if you played any multiplayer shooter or just multiplayer game in general, is that if there's packet loss, packet burst, and if the connection is not where it's supposed to be, and your ping is through the roof and all that kind of stuff, despite the fact that the game may be solid, that is something that is more than enough to ruin the multiplayer experience, right? So, as well as other possibilities in the matchmaking system. So I hope it gets to the point to where, the feedback is good and the thumbs up are good and there's some consistency there to where something like this could stay. But obviously, the goal is for it to become the default setting, and then maybe perhaps they can do like one or two playlists for people that just prefer the SBMM or EOMM or whatever it is, for the people that still need their hands held or whatever the deal is, right? Because the game will actually consistently perform better without that algorithm, right? Because again, no packet loss, no packet burst, bullets are connecting, et cetera, et cetera. And right now, also the ones that are playing the game, as far as I understand, are a lot of the Call of Duty enthusiasts, right? The ones that are, the hardcore fans and all that kind of stuff. So, plus, as of right now, it's not the weekend. You know what I mean? The best time to release, to play the beta, and the most popular time is the weekend, right? When people are not working. That is the best time. So I don't know how much longer this beta is going to go for. Is it going to go for the end of the week and it's going to be done by Monday? I'm not sure. I haven't, again, because I don't really necessarily cover Call of Duty anymore. I'm not really as in tune, right? So the thing is this, if it does last for the entirety of the week, hopefully the weekend and those numbers and the feedback during the weekend, when you get some more people playing, hopefully that will help make a difference. And the reason why I'm rooting for this to succeed as far as the no skill-based matchmaking is concerned is because if a popular game like Call of Duty, for instance, is to do this, and then all of a sudden the game kind of, turns around and starts heading towards a brighter future as opposed to, a dark future, then, other games out there, not just the franchise itself, but other games out there as well, and other franchises as well, will also alter their course, right? Because when big games out there started implementing their own versions of a skill-based matchmaking system, it seemed like every game under the sun started doing this, right? So if you talk about like a big name game like Fortnite having SBMM, it's like, okay, we need to do that because they're doing it and they're succeeding, so we need to do that. You know what I mean? So the thing is, if Call of Duty succeeds by not having SBMM in their matchmaking system, then it's like, okay, it's like, maybe it can be done. Maybe it can succeed, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm saying? And even when you look at it from a performance standpoint, you know, one of the things that's still misunderstood to this day is that people believe, you know, a lot of people believe that the people that are calling for no SBMM, you know, want bot lobbies, that they want to play against people that have no thumbs game in and game out and want to stomp them game in, game out. No, I'm here to tell you that that would be boring as hell if that was the case. If I was getting 70 kills in a team deathmatch in every single game that I played, like for instance, like this game here, like XDefiant, if I was getting 70 kills on average, if not close to that every single game, it would be boring because it wouldn't be that balance of, you know, your how do I put this, like it wouldn't be balanced, and it wouldn't be like reasonably challenging. You know, it has to be balanced to a point to where it's like, yeah, it's challenging, but not to the point to where it'll ruin the experience. And the thing is that the magic formula is when you have a mixture of skill levels in a match, right? That's where the magic formula comes in, right? And when COD was, you know, in its glory days, that's pretty much what you got, lobby in and lobby out. Every once in a while, you'd get a complete dud lobby, and then that's where the really big scores are coming in. But what ended up happening was, I think a lot of people ended up, you know, taking that entire belief in that people want bot lobbies, because back then, and again, it wasn't as well known as it is today. Back then, during, like, let's say the Black Ops 2 days, you know, some of these guys that would get like the 100 pluses every game and stuff like that, they would reverse boost. But the thing is, we just didn't quite know about it, right? So it's like, you know, that's the thing, and the wrong message was spread across and stuff like that. Hell, I would even argue that a lot of these guys were, you know, are, you know, responsible for actually, you know, for an algorithm like the EOMM thing to become a thing in the first place, because they really, you know, overdid it. You know what I'm saying? So, and I was always wondering while I was watching their gameplays, I'm like, those are not the kind of opponents I get. You know, you got people that are like not even firing back, not even looking in their general direction and stuff like that, you know, when they're clearly like right there. And it's like, huh, that's very interesting. So, and that's just the tip of the iceberg of the stuff that I saw all those years ago. And I wasn't even as familiar with everything like I am today. But with that being said, we got to give credit where credit is due, so that way the message is, you know, is clear from the community to the developers, to where it's like, yeah, you're doing the right thing, please keep doing this. So it's like, you know, I've always been one of those content creators that, like, if you're going to do something right, I will give you a thumbs up, and I will give you your credit. And again, if you do something bad, it's like, I'll give you your thumbs down, and I will discredit you. So that's basically how the cookie crumbles with me. It's always been that way. So it's like, okay, if there's a chance that no SBMM can succeed, not just within Call of Duty, but with the rest of, you know, the gaming atmosphere, so to speak, with other games out there, it's like, okay, let's root for that. You know what I mean? Because you want the best connection possible. You want no packet loss, no packet burst and stuff like that. You want your bullets to connect and everything like that. And you want an overall balanced experience. And again, if you want to know what a balanced experience is like, even from a performance standpoint, go back and look at my XDefiant streams. Go to my main channel page, go to my live tab, and scroll down after Splitgate 2. You'll find XDefiant streams, and a ton of them. And you'll see that basically, like, you will see that my scores vary, you know, but the experience was always enjoyable because there was a consistency, you know what I'm saying, in terms of the lobby balancing or whatnot, right? So and again, it never really bothered me to carry bad players. I used to be a bad player, you know, so it's like, I get it, I understand it, it's all good, you know, it's the lesser of two evils, so to speak. So it's like, hey, I'll take it, you know what I'm saying? And even with XDefiant, even when the game was announced that it would shut down, and I was playing at degenerate hours, I was playing at like really late nights and early into the morning and late into the morning in some cases, and let me tell you, man, I still found games at a reasonable time. When the popularity of the game was starting to drop, I was still finding games, you know, reasonably well. And if you don't believe me, go back and look at my streams, and you'll see it. It's, you know, they're not cut at all. They're DVR'd, you know. So it's and that's what it is, really. It's just a matter of consistency, as opposed to something that's kind of being manipulated and predetermined as to what the results would be. So if some companies out there is doing something right for a change, it's like, okay, give them the thumbs up that, like, hey, this is right. So that way they get the message, because, as you know, it's very easy for a company to as well as its developers, you know, to be out of touch and to assume what players think they like or what they don't like. So it's like, you know, in a way, it's like, you got to help these guys out to get the message. It's like, hey, when you're doing something wrong, we got to tell you. When you're doing something right, again, we got to tell you. So, but that's my take on it though. But with you guys that are still playing Call of Duty out there, I want to know, what are your experiences with this playlist? And remember, it's a small sample size. If the sample size was bigger, like full release, for instance, and they released this on release, and especially if it was a default way of searching, that is, especially after the first week, would be a really good experience. Because remember, especially when you're talking about the weekends, again, that's when most people have time to play. That would be like the best determining, way of how things actually feel. So, but I want to know, in terms of what you guys have been experiencing with the game. Are you guys having a good time? Are you guys having a bad time? Is it, tell me what you think. So with that being said, I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to watch and or listen. And if it really is good, hopefully it can continue to be good as far as, the matchmaking system is concerned. So anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.